So today I am going to jump right into how to make a pom-pom. So this is a pom-pom maker and it is already full. So I'll show you that in just a moment, but I'm going to go ahead and just cut that yarn away from the ball, and I will give you a little bit of an overview of how to wrap one of these guys up. Now you can make pom-poms just on a fork. You can wrap it around the fork and it works fine. The pom-pom makers just give you a little more control over what's happening. So if you don't have a pom-pom maker and you just desperately want to make one, you can actually just wrap your yarn around a fork and then tie your center thread and then go ahead and cut and shape your pom-pom. So you don't have to have one of these little pom-pom makers, but they sure are nice. And Clover actually makes a set that we sell in the shop that is a 4-piece set. So it's an 85, 65, 45, and 35 millimeter. So this is the smallest one. This is the largest one. So you can see you can make some really big pom-poms and some really small ones. Now I decided that I wanted to use up more of my hand spun yarn. So this is hand spun from roving that I actually bought from my friends over at Pearly Shell Fiber Arts. And I made just a little hat for Ina, just a very basic knit one, purl one hat. And this actually took me a year to finish because I started it last year and clearly it's done, but I think it needs a pom-pom. So in order to completely finish off this hat, because technically it's finished, right? I mean, this is finished. I even wove in my bottom end, I think. Oh no, maybe I didn't. Oh, okay, so I still need to weave in my bottom end. And I think I left it, yes, and I left the end on the inside of my hat up here. So I wove that one in. But I'm going to use this tail when I attach my pom-pom. So I decided to go ahead and just leave it where it is and not trim it off. Let's talk about making a pom-pom. This is your little pom-pom maker. So it's just 2 pieces that come apart. So here's my 2 pieces that come apart. And it has 2 sets of wings on each side. So to make your pom-pom, you start with one side of your pom-pom maker. You take your yarn and then you just start wrapping it around your pom-pom maker until it is nice and full. And it'll be nice and full here at the base. So you can see here, this one is nice and full down in the base. So there we go. And what you'll do is you'll wrap, and then when this is all full, you'll close this piece. You'll bring it across and you'll start wrapping the next piece. Important things to remember are to not wrap over the foot area on either side. So you don't want to wrap over this area because this isn't really going to be caught in your pom-pom and it's just going to fall out. So we don't want to wrap there. It'll also make it very hard to cut your pom-pom. And then once you're all ready and you have completely filled up your pom-pom, it does take a while to wrap. You can actually do some really fancy things with this as well. If you look on these Clover versions, they actually have lines that show you different segments, and you can make spotted and striped, and you can be very creative in your pom-poms. You can make some really cool pom-poms. I know, I'm sounding like a pom-pom crazy person, but well, I kind of am. I just think pom-poms are really fun. So you just wrap, 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 wrap. Now I'm not going to finish this one because I already have one that is nice and full and wrapped up. So you can see here is where I moved from this side to this side, and then this is, you can see it in here as well. This will be cut, so it's not a big deal. And Ina actually helped me wrap this one, so I had a lot of help wrapping it. But it's nice and full on both sides. You can see it's full all the way down into the base of, I call it the shell. And what we're going to do now is we're actually going to cut. I know, isn't that scary? We're going to cut, and then we are going to take a string and we're going to thread that through. So I have some leftover string. Let me see if I have it. I have some leftover pink string on a tatting shuttle. So I'm just going to take some of my tatting cotton here and trim that off. And because it's a similar color, and that's what I want for this project, if you wanted to use a contrasting color, you could. But this is just going to help it kind of blend in. And once we're here, we're going to take a pair of scissors, and this is where a lot of people get a little bit scared, but you're just going to trim, and you can see that there is a line. So there's going to be a line where your scissors can go. It's sort of a guide for your scissors. It's going to be down the center of each side of our pom-pom. And the reason that we have to cut this open is because this is where our string will go to hold all of these lovely little fluffy cut pieces together. So just, and if you find that you're having some issues, it's not cutting open nicely, or oh no, you missed a string, you can just go back in and cut it later. It's not a big deal. It's super fun to make pom-poms. I really like making pom-poms, if you can't tell. So this is the first stage. And now the reason, let me unwind this, the reason that our pieces come apart on these pom-pom makers is because when we take the string, we are going to put it down into this groove, and we're going to tie it really tight. You can see there's a pin down in here. See if I move it there. So there's a pin right there. See that pin in between the two pieces? So we're going to take our string and tie it down in between the grooves, down around, kind of around that pin, and try to get it as tight as we can so it doesn't come apart. And then we'll take our two pieces apart, and that's what will release all of our fluff. It'll be delightful. You'll see. We'll do this, and then we'll do this, and then we will pull it apart, and then there'll be this big fluffy pom-pom. Okay? So let's do this. I'm going to take our string now that we've cut, and I can see that I might have, yeah, there we go. Take our string, and I'm going to slide it down in, and what I like to do is I like to do sort of an overhand start to my knot and pull it down tight. And then I like to flip it over, and I like to do it again. See if we can get that. There we go. Like that. And then I'm going to do one more overhand knot down into the center. And that should be pretty secure. Now, if you're really worried about it, you can go ahead and you can do another little overhand and take it down into the middle. But now we should be able to release our pieces here. And pull this apart. And, oh yeah, I got a nice fluffy one. Now we can fluff and trim our pom-pom. And this one's maybe a little bit too full. I tend to overfill them because it's a little bit more oval shaped as opposed to round. And the next part, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not going to do this on camera. I mean, I'll show you how to start it, but you're going to trim your pom-pom, and I do this over a trash can. So this is 100%, no, this is not 100% wool. This is mostly wool. It's wool and tencel. But you could use the little scraps as filling for something else, like a catnip toy or something. But I don't tend to do that. Usually I just take my scissors and I just kind of go along and I just do this and I trim it. And now you can see why I trim it over the trash can, because there's all these little pieces that pop out. But I just, you know, and you'll just trim this and fluff it and trim it and fluff it until it is the shape that you would like it to be. So I'm going to go do that and just sort of, I'm going to do this and get it all trimmed up and make it look nice, but without making, you know, a pile on my table here. And then when I come back, I will show you how I'm going to attach this to my hat. All right, so I have my pom-pom and I have mostly trimmed it to my satisfaction. I'm not gonna lie, I could trim these forever and ever, and never be totally satisfied, because I'm a perfectionist, and every time I look at this, I'm like, oh, it's just a little too long here, and oh, it's just a little too long there. So I just get to a point where I'm like, I have to let this go. I have to stop. I can say that using sharp scissors is really helpful. These are kind of a short blade. Sometimes I use a little longer blade when I'm doing it. But sharp scissors are a must if you're going to be making pom-poms. And you can see, so here my set is back together in its little plastic case. So this way I don't lose them. And just in case you needed a little extra help, there's actually a visual guide on the back of the box. So it's pretty easy to follow along. And this is basically what I just showed you. So, anyway, it's not hard to make a pom-pom. It's really not hard to make a pom-pom. The next thing that you're going to need is, hang on, a darning needle. I am fairly fond of the Hiya darning needles. And I like that they have just a slight angle to the tip. So that's what I am going to be using today. And if you recall, I left the tail here for my hat, and I'm just going to go through the center. So right through the center where I gathered it all together, and bring my tail up. Now my tail is a teeny bit short, so this may or may not work. But I'm going to try to find kind of the center of my ball and bring it through, and then hopefully find the opposite edge and bring it through. And that looks pretty darn good. Although, oops, I lost a little piece, that's all right. And then, and there are different methods, by the way, for doing this. This is my choice. If you choose to attach your pom-pom like this, you can't really take it off to wash. So it has to be a conscious decision that it's going to be washed with the pom-pom on it, and your pom-pom may come out looking fuzzier than you intended, which I don't think is a bad thing, but for some people, that's just, too much for them. But I am just going to weave in my ends, and then I'm going to stick it back through the center. I didn't quite get it done. I'm going to stick it back through the center and see if I need to trim it, or if it's short enough to just sort of almost disappear. I think it's going to be short enough to disappear. We're going to take it backwards instead. There. Ha! Into the center of my pom-pom. So there we go. Now my pom-pom is attached to my hat. I'll shake it a little bit. See, it's not coming off. Not coming off. And now I can go in and I can finish off my second tail down here. And then my hat, my cute little stretchy hat with my little pink and purple pom-pom is completely done. So that is how you make a pom-pom. Like I said, there's other ways to attach this. You can actually use a snap system or a button system that allows you to remove the pom-pom for washing. But I hand wash a lot of these kind of things. So I'm not really worried about it going through the washing machine and having the pom-pom ruined. So I'm just going to leave it the way it is and go ahead and bury this end. I thought that I had already woven this in, but oh, actually I might have woven it in. Maybe I just didn't take it through the edge. There we go. I like to take my finished tail kind of through the edge just a little bit, so that if the tail does pop out, hopefully it's on the inside of my work. And when I have ribbing, especially, I like to run my tail kind of up and around each row of knit stitches like that and let it lock into place. And then I'm just going to go ahead and trim this down. I am going to leave just a little bit of a tail because after I wash this, I have a feeling that it'll pull in just a little bit more, and then that tail will tuck in and it'll be fine. And there we go. that is how to make a pom-pom and how to then attach it to your hat. Now, if you did not leave a tail on your hat, you can just go take another piece of that same yarn that you have used, and you can go ahead and put it through, and you can actually go in through the inside, up through the pom-pom, back into the inside, and you can kind of tie it in here as well. So that's another option. You can sort of tie it on, again, if you want to wash them separately. So I hope that helps somebody who needed a little pom-pom tutorial. I really like making pom-poms. And again, if you're looking for these, we carry these in the shop, and I like having the 4 options. So I get the super pom-pom maker kit. That's what this one's called. Anyway, thanks for following along. I hope that the pom-pom tutorial helped you. And don't forget to like, subscribe, follow along, comment on all the good places that we are at. So Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Anyway, I'll talk to you later. Bye.